Okay, so we are here learning Tomer Devorah, and we are learning this in order to bring down Rachamei Shamayim for Binyamin Yisroel ben Chanita. And we're told that learning Tomer Devorah is a segula for healing, for somebody who's ill, and that's why this book in particular was suggested. But how do we do that? Do we do that? I mean, we're learning together in his name. We do that by learning, by, the merit that comes from our learning is one thing. But the reason it's Tomer Devorah and not any other sefer is because Tomer Devorah is not like any other sefer. It's really all about refinement of the person to a level and a degree that most of us just don't normally think of left to our own devices. And so the real merit that comes from this and the real way in which we pull down this Rachamei Shamayim for Binyamin Yisroel ben Chanita is through our, not just learning the sefer, but really working on ourselves, working on our insides to really evolve it and refine it and become really more sensitive, higher evolved beings. And in so doing, we bring down incredible bracha into the world, not only bracha for oneself, but bracha for the whole world. And in this case, we're really pointing it at bracha for Binyamin Yisroel ben Chanita and all the Cholei Yisrael and all the Cholei Olam. So we just read the fourth Mida yesterday, l'sheareit נחלתו, to the remnant of his inheritance. And we said in a way this one ends up being a little easier to understand because kind of the essence of it is v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. We all know, love your neighbor as yourself. So on the one hand, that's easy. On the other hand, it's kind of hard. How do you do that? How are you told to love someone? How are you commanded to love someone? Or commanded to love HaShem? That's also like, wait, how do we pull out those feelings? But of course, we have inner feelings of love for HaShem that we're born with somewhere in there hidden, even if we're not in touch with them. And of course, we have all the mitzvos around connecting to HaShem that push us forward in this mission of loving HaShem. But loving another human being, especially when they're really annoying or they're really worse than annoying, they're really doing something that's very hard for us to take or stomach or deal with. I mean, these are really real things. Every day, there's someone in our lives that's going to upset us or someone in our lives that's going to bring out some negative feelings. So l'sheareit נחלתו was all about, well, the fact is HaShem feels so close to us. We are like his closest relatives. We're practically like his own flesh, kiviyachol, if HaShem had flesh, so to speak. And so HaShem knows that if we hurt, he hurts. If we're in pain, he's in pain. So why would he want to inflict pain on us? Why would he want to even necessarily punish us, so to speak, at times where we might even deserve it? Right? He'd rather wait for us to do tshuva. He'd rather wait for us to really get it on our own. And so then we are enjoined to do the same thing with our fellow Jews, right? That we should feel that connection. Just like HaShem feels that connection to us, we should feel how one we really are with our fellow Jews. We're told that Yaakov Avinu, when he came down to Mitzrayim with the entirety of the Jewish people at that time, there were 70 of us, 70 souls, but the word for souls is in the singular, nefesh, shivim nefesh. Doesn't say shivim nefashot. So we already have this, okay, we're one family and we're really one. We are one collective soul. And, anybody knows that if you strike out to hurt, if the right hand gets hurt by something that the left hand did by accident, and then the right hand decides to hurt the left hand in response, I mean, you're going to feel it. You're not doing yourself a favor when you strike out against yourself. And the deeper we understand that we are all so one, we are all so connected and part of the same thing, the deeper we can embody that lesson. So I said this time, instead of going on to a new Mida, I was going to just talk more about this Mida. So that's what I'm going to do. So there are two two kind of things that make it more understandable, more palatable, and even more beautiful. So here in the Mida itself, Rabbi Moshe Cordovero talked about something that seems a little bit hard to understand, a little bit obscure, and it's from the Gemara about the first 10 people who arrive at shul. They get the credit for being the first 10 people, and they get the credit even if 100 people come after them. They get the credit of all 100, and really the truth is everybody's getting that credit of all 100, because he said that we're all inter-included in each other. If you have 10 people in the minyan, then each person is like 10 on their own. There's you, and you have a piece of the 9 people who are with you. So here's something that's much better to understand, and it's from the Gemara in Brachos. It really brings it home in a beautiful way. If you are having a meal and you have made hamotzi, and somebody shows up at the meal who has not made hamotzi and does not know how to make hamotzi, you are not allowed to make hamotzi for them. It's a bracha levatala. But if you have made kiddush already for yourself, and somebody shows up and has not made kiddush and does not know how to make kiddush, you are allowed to make kiddush for them. Why? Because it's as if we follow this line of thinking that we're all interconnected and we all have pieces of each other in ourselves, then there's a piece of that person in you. And you are allowed to make kiddush for that person because the piece of that person that's in you has not heard kiddush. And so it's not a bracha levatala. You're making it really for like another part of yourself, so to speak. And it's like an interesting way of thinking about it. And this is from a sefer called The Elucidated Tomer Devorah, where he said it's not so much like v'ahavta l'reyecha kamocha. It feels like we're asked to not be selfish and love others as much as we love ourselves. But in fact, he says we're asked to be even more selfish in the sense that we're asked to expand our understanding of self to include everyone else. It's like a very amazing way of thinking, like to just expand your notion of self, that it doesn't only include you, it includes others as well. And it includes, for better or worse, the person that's really driving you crazy. And it includes, for better or worse, the person who you feel has even harmed you. The person, God forbid, you might want to take revenge on. But when you put it in this light, wait a minute, I have a piece of that person in me. And as somebody said to me, there was a young man who recently passed away from Corona in the Chabad world. His last name was Dukes, and I'm forgetting his first name, but he started like a Partners in Torah-like program in the Chabad world. And he was just a very like beautiful person and totally Mesiras Nefesh for, Klal Yisrael. And, like right up to the end, he was still really involved in it. And he said, nothing happens to you.
On Regina, please.
It happens for you.
I'm listening to.
And just nothing happens to you, it happens for you. So that anything that happens, this annoying person who comes along or God forbid really harms you, God forbid, it's happening for you. There's a benefit in this. There's something for you to learn. There's something for you to grow. There's a way for you to expand your notion of self and find your love for this other person. And further on in this sefer, he says also that it doesn't mean you actually have to have feelings of love for this person. What you have to have is seeking that person's benefit, the desire to seek good for that person. Okay, they've harmed you. Maybe you're finding it difficult to love them, but you can turn around and seek their good, seek their benefit. That you can do. And just like you wouldn't like, if a member of your family or somebody you really love very much has done something that was damaging, a child has done something that was damaging, you're going to forgive them. You're not going to say, well, no, they have to realize what they did, they have to come to me, they have to make amends, they have to all these things. I mean, maybe there's a part of that you're going to work into the equation, but of course you're going to forgive them. And if you treat everybody in your world like your family, so you find ways of also being able to forgive this person who's done something that you consider unforgivable. And yet if it was inside your own family and somebody you really loved, you would find a way to forgive them. So our time is just about up there. I just want to see if there's something that I wanted to share with you. And maybe it'll just be this. The insight we gain through the attribute of to the remnant of his inheritance is that we are not asked to be unselfish. I'm just repeating that. Rather, we are expected to widen our sense of self to include others within ourselves. Be concerned for the other person's welfare as you would be concerned for your own, since his welfare actually is your own. He's a part of you and you are a part of him. If the other person's success is their own success, what point is there to jealousy? What point is there to getting angry at others when we are in fact only getting angry at ourselves? If we take revenge on others, we are taking revenge on ourselves. If we forgive others, we're forgiving ourselves. If we go out of the way to help another person, we're actually helping ourselves. So we'll stop there. And Carol, will you say the Tehillim at this point?
Okay. Lamnatea mizmor LaDavid, Yanecha Adonai, Bayom Tzara Yisagevacha, Shem Elohei Yaakov. Yishlach Ezracha Mikodesh, Mitzion Yisadeha, Yizkor Kol Min Hochsacha Ve'olatzacha, Yadashne Sela, Yitain Lecha, Kil Vavecha V'chol Atzatzacha, Yamale Naranana B'Yeshuasacha, Uvashem Elohinu Nidgol, Yamale Adonai Ki Mish alosacha ata yadati ki hoshia Adonai mishicho ya'anehu mishmei kadsho bigvoros yesha yamino ele v'reka ve'ele v'asusi v'anachnu b'shem Adonai Eloheinu naskir hima karu'u v'nafalu v'anachnu kamnu v'nito dad Adonai Hashiach HaMelech Hineni v'yam karenu.
Okay, and then you'll say the 119.
I'll say the 119.
Okay. So then tomorrow we're on again for what will be 10 a.m. your time, and I guess it's 6 p.m. my time. And
Right.
then I'll see you then, and we'll move on to another meetup.
Okay, great. Thank you.
See you.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.